Alright then guys, hello. Today we're going to be doing Lord of SQLI challenge. The challenge that we're going to be doing today is going to be called ORC. And the point of this challenge is that we're going to be using blind SQLI. So what is blind SQLI, you say? So blind SQLI, if we just do a quick Google search, let's click this right here. What is blind SQLI? So blind SQLI, blind SQLI occurs when a web application is exposed to SQL injection, and but HTTP response does not contain the result of the SQL query for any of the detailed database errors. What is a blind SQL? All the data is used to blind SQLI is often used to build database schemas and get all the data in the database. This is often done using brute force techniques. So that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be using a brute force technique. What is blind Boolean based SQLI? So this is what we're going to be using. This allows an attacker to infer if the payload uses return true or false, even though no database from the database is returned. This attack is especially slow. So what is blind Boolean based SQLI? And what is blind SQLI techniques? So when the database does not output data to the web page, an attacker is forced to steal data by asking the database a series of true or false questions. So that's basically what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be setting a bunch of true or falses to see if that certain data, if we're able to do blind SQL injection, and we are, because this is called Lord of SQL injection. So of course it's going to be a blind SQL injection. In our case, how we know it's going to be blind, or we know it's going to be blind, is because this first top half, it's usually what we're used to dealing with. So we have preg match, probability, blah blah blah. This is just filtering out. We're able to bypass this normally. This is the first filter that we have, and it gets passed through this if statement. And like with this if statement, if it's true, it prints out hello admin. So that's the whole point. That's where the whole blind SQLi injection is going to be, because of this one. Because in this second part is basically the same statement as the one at the top above. The only difference is that there's more filtration, which is add slashes. With the add slashes, it doesn't allow us to put in blind SQL injection to pass to solve ORC part of it. In this case, we're gonna have to actually put in the password, and like in this part, we're gonna actually need to insert the password or find the password of PWD. So we're gonna have to, like before, we were able to bypass it with SQL injection and not actually put in the password. But in this case, we have to. So the case of blind SQL injection is gonna come into play. So like always, we're gonna do we're gonna set PW equals empty I guess empty password. So this is gonna be false. So it's not gonna run hello admin, because this is false, and then ID equals admin, so that's false. We're gonna do percentage 23 right here. Percentage, percentage, and then percentage 23. So anyway, so what we have right now, so it's gonna have where ID is equal to admin and PW is false, or if ID equals to admin. Since this is a valid statement, select an ID from where probably arc is ID admin. So it's gonna print out admin. So since this is true, since we know an ID is equal to admin, so that's true. It's just gonna print out hello admin. So now we know we have the case of what is blind SQLi. What is blind SQLi? Is by asking the database a series of true or false questions. So that's one of the true or false. Well, we know that there's an ID equal to admin. Now we want to be able to figure out the password of it. So how do we figure out the password? So one of the very first things we want to ask ourselves is, what is the length of the password, I guess, for the most part. So by knowing the length of the password, we know how long the password is, and then after that we're able to brute force every character inside the password. That's how basically we're gonna solve this challenge. So we want to figure out the length. So one way to figure out the length is just doing ID is equal to admin, ID is equal to admin. Oh wait, these are my notes. I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, this is gonna be my notes right here. Or we could do the admin, and we could figure out the length of it just by doing and the length of PW, which holds the password, is equal to, let's say 1. Let's say if it equals to 1. So now we have this. So this is basically, it's passing. This is false, because we know like there needs to be some type of value. And then we have an or if ID is equal to admin, which is true, which was set to true because they printed out hello admin, and the length of PW is equal to 1. Since hello admin did not print out, we could assume that the length of the password is not equal to 1. And what we could do is we could brute force our way through it. So 2, it's not 2. The length of the password is not 2. Then we'll go to 3. Then we'll go to 4. Then we go to 5. Then we'll go to 6. And then we just keep on doing this every time until we brute force our way through it. What we could do is write a script, in which I did, but I'll explain the script I wrote at the end. So now we have 8. And now with length, oh, I spelled length wrong. So, but anyway, that was the whole point. Length. Now we get hello admin. So now we know that the length of the password is size 8. So now after that, we're able to brute force every character. So right here I have in my notes.txt. So now we know the password size is 8. Now we got to figure out how we can access every character and brute force every character. And we could do that by using substring, which is a function in SQL that we are able to do. So substring, all you need to pass in is basically the password that we want to check, the position, and the size. That's basically what we're doing. And this, how it's positioned, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're checking password, which is equal to this entire row. We're checking the position at 1, which is this one, and we only want to go up to length of 1, so it's only going to stay at that spot. So we want to check at 1 right here, and we're going to check every possible printable string. So it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. You get me? And we're gonna check like every other printable, like oh that just prints out, but like you get me. We're gonna print out all of these. We're gonna check every one of these at position 1 and check if that equals to 0. So that's mostly like a brute force method, and that's what we're gonna do for every one of them. So every time we switch, we're gonna, so basically the only two values that are gonna be switching is gonna be substring and then PW for the password. We're gonna switch X, which is the position. 1 is still gonna stay the same because we want to check it 1 character at a time, and then we're gonna change the variable at Y. So I want to call this Y. So X and Y are gonna be the changing variables, and that's what we're gonna write a brute force method to check every single method. And that's basically what I did for every part. We checked every single part. So if I just change this to, because I currently have it, saved right here. I mean, my payload initially to explain this. So if we check it right here, PW, if I just remove percentage 27 and on, if I remove this part and I insert this, now we get this. So if ID equals to admin and then as substring the password at 1 is equal to 0, that means it's true. If at password at position 1, length of 1, which is this, and if it equals to 0, that means admin ID is equal to admin, and at that certain position it's 0, it prints it out. So now we officially know that at position 1 it's 0. And now since we know that's 0, we just switch on to 2. Now if we switch the position to 2, like how I'm gonna do right here, it's gonna set to false. So that means at position 2 we know that it's not 0, so we had to move on to the next value, which is 1. And now we know that's not true for the case, and we're gonna have to keep on doing this for every single character that it is until we find it. And once we find that specific character, we switch on to the next position. That's basically what we're gonna do for this challenge, and that's how basically we're gonna get the password to pass this challenge. So in our case, I wrote a script, so I'm just gonna like a nano org.py. So what I did was just get our PHP session ID, which is you could basically do by doing inspect element and checking your cookies. So if you guys don't know how to do it, then just go inspect application, and then you go to cookies. Then you'll see your right here. So you just set your PHP session ID and then with your cookie value. And then and go back right here, close this. And then what I did right here, I got hello admin. I set it as a string. So I'll go for every X and range. This was just to figure out the range of the length of the password. So what we did right here was just pass in the URL, URL encode this because with the parentheses it's kind of weird. You can have to URL encode it unless you actually literally put in percentage 23, then you should be fine. And after that, we pass in x, which x is gonna be from every number in range of 0 to 10 or 0 to 9. I forgot how it goes, but anyway, you get it. Then we just try every one of them, and then if we see hello admin, which that means it's a true statement, because if we go back right here, if ID is equal to substring and then percentage 27 and then length of password, if you do this, it prints out hello admin once it's valid. So that's why I have hello admin. If hello admin is in the text from the request, that means the password length is whatever it is at that x, and it prints out the length of the password. And this is nothing for the most part, yeah, because we don't use it later on. Control K. Now we have password D. Now we have our password that we're trying to get. So we go from I in range of 1 to length of password. And then for every J from in range of 48 to 122. If you guys don't know what that is, you just look up ASCII table. If you guys just look up ASCII table for the most part, and we go right here on ASCII table. If you look up, what is it, 48 to 122, 48, we go decimal right here, and we go to 48. That's basically from 0 to 122, which is the last variable Z. So, in my choice, I technically just only chose alphanumeric, because if these choices were available too, it might have been like super long. So in my case, I just chose alphanumeric values. So it starts at 48 and it ends at 122, which is a little z. And 48 is 0. That makes sense. So we're checking characters starting from 0 all the way to little z. And then if we go check right here, it does our PHP equals, oh, we can just change this. This doesn't have to be, but I said as 1. And then ID is equal to admin and the substring app. We're getting that password, and initially it's gonna start at 1. So this substring is gonna be 1, 1, and it's gonna check it's gonna pass in whatever J was, and J is a range from 48, and 48 starts at 0, and it's gonna turn the decimal 48 to a character, and that character is gonna be 0, and so it's gonna be substring. The very first value, like we said before, is gonna be substring PW11 equal to 0. That's basically what's gonna be at the very beginning, because 48 turning into a char becomes 0. And then after that, we're gonna print the URL. Oh, this was for debugging purposes. And then we're gonna send a request, and if the request has hello admin like it did before, then that means we're gonna add that certain character into our empty string, and that's how we're gonna build our password for the most part. So if we run this, for the most part, you're gonna see how it does it. So Python 3 org.py. So it's running it, and then once we reach that certain number, password length 8. So that means our password length is 8. So we just copy this, and if we go right here, let me just copy this right here. We see that, look, hello admin popped out, and since that popped out, it just extracted the 8 value, and now we know the length of a password is 8. Now if we go back to our code right here, so every time a valid answer comes into place, there's like always like some kind of space at the end of it. So in our case, so what I'm gonna copy is this one. Since there's a space at the end, if we just copy this, see, look, password at 0, hello admin. So that passed this, so that means 0 is getting added to our password. And then right here is building it. So if we go right here, 0 is added, and then we go right here. Next, it prints out 0. So that means this value right here was valid. So we just copy this. And then keep a lookout right here. So substring is password at 1, 1. Now if we pass in and it equals to 0. Now we pass this one. Password at the second spot is equal to 9. And it was true since hello admin printed out. So that means that's true. So if we go back to our notes, so now this value, now we know this value at position 2 is 9. And now we keep on doing this for every value right here. That's basically what this code is doing. So if you look back right here at 9, so at 9 now we check position at 3. Now we want to check position at 3, and then this is since it printed out 0, 9, we check the value, we check the URL beforehand. So that means it's a valid URL. If we get this, and we put it right here. At position 3, it's 5, and we keep on doing this for every single position. We check every single character at every single position, and at the end we get this substring. So if we pass this right here, I'll pass this. Now, oh yeah, so we did this for every single one of them, and at the end we get this password at the end. So like the only, I guess, bug or error with my code was that for some reason the password, I guess, was not this. So if I pass this in, it gets hello admin, but it doesn't pass in the password. Reason being is because I'm guessing for the letter A, it was supposed to be undercase. So I don't know why that happened for some weird reason. If anyone's able to explain it down below in the comments, explain it. But that was basically it for this challenge. It was basically blind SQL injection. I'll copy and paste the code down below, or I'll send a link to a just GitHub link so you guys could copy and paste it. I'll have the link down below, and you guys will be able to, like, I guess, run the code for yourselves and understand it more. But anyway, that was about it for this challenge. This video is kind of getting long, but anyway, that was about it. Peace.